You know, I think we can all agree that cheating is bad. It's a terrible thing to do. It's one of the worst things you can actually do to a person because it ruins lives in a lot of cases. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about, well, another video that came out a little bit over a year ago. So the person I'm going to be talking shit about, I'm not sure if they have the same takes now or not, but I saw this video while I was just chilling out and I was like, you know, I'm gonna talk about this. So yeah, anyway, let me just get this up here. This isn't going to be the entire video too, so I'm going to link the entire video in the description, so if you want to check that out, by all means go ahead. It is commentary done by a guy called Pegasus, and he has pretty solid takes a lot of the times, right? I watch him on and off. I'm not a big super mega fan or anything like that, but I agree with most of his takes. It's the other guy that I have a problem with, but you'll see why. Anyway, check this out.
One of my exes would say that I cheated.
What did you do?
Had an encounter with a mutual friend while we were both incredibly intoxicated, and I don't consider incredible intoxication to be consensual, so I don't.
Okay, who got intoxicated though?
Okay, so the first thing that I want you all to notice is there's multiple topics that we're going to talk about in this short video, but anyway, the first thing I want you to notice about this chick is that she has zero accountability, as per usual, right? Individuals like this who talk in this way, they start making excuses for themselves, they start deflecting instantly, they don't change. People say cheaters don't change. No, these types of cheaters don't change, because the reality is they've never owned up to what they've done. So from the time that she starts blaming it on alcohol, blaming it on, you know, well, you just work so much, or, you know, we don't get to spend time together, there's always something to put the blame on instead of oneself. This is how you know when a cheater has no real intention of actually changing and becoming a better person, you know. So I want you all to check that, think about that for a second. But I also agree strongly with what Pegasus said. Who drank the alcohol? You did. You went and you drank. And the thing is, I used to party really hard. I used to cheat a lot when I was growing up. When I was like between the ages of 14 to like 17, I used to just be on a lot of wild shit. And I'm gonna tell you something, no matter how drunk you are, you gotta be attracted to the person to cheat. So, and a lot of times it happens before you. That attraction exists there before you were drunk. People just use the alcohol as an excuse. And I was one of those individuals. I would say, oh, I was partying, like, it's not my fault, like, I drank too much, I'm sorry. You know, like, but in reality, I wasn't. You know, and some people ask me, how did you manage to actually change and never go back to that lifestyle? Is you got to just realize that that lifestyle isn't good for you or anyone around you. You know, you're partying, drinking a lot, which is just bad for your health, but it's also bad for your mental. Your mental health as well suffers from that, and then your relationships suffers as well. So you also don't get to have real connections with people because they start seeing you for like this really super fake and vain type of individual. That's all you really care about, good times. But anyway, let's get back into this.
Mutual friend while we were both incredibly intoxicated, and I don't consider incredible intoxication to be consensual, so I don't.
Okay, who got intoxicated though? Who put the alcohol in your system? How is that fair, bro?
Yeah, but I guess I can kind of see the line of like an act of like you're making the choice to break trust, and while here you did cheat on your partner, you might have not actively made the choice. However, it's still a little like, if you're getting to that point,
that's an interesting. No, I get it. That's an
Yeah, so I'm gonna pause right here. This Connor guy is stupid. Now, I don't know him at all. I'm just talking based off of this clip in this situation. Your take on this is moronic, my guy. Because at the end of the day, drinking doesn't somehow make you immune to consequences of your actions, or the fact that you're making a choice to break the trust of someone else. You can't just say, oh, because I drank, I'm not guilty of whatever decision that I made, because at the end of the day, you still made the decision to cheat, whether you were intoxicated or not. being intoxicated doesn't somehow absolve you of wrongdoing. That's stupid, man.
Interesting argument. I just never understood the under alcohol. Like, if you're under alcohol, you're not responsible for your actions. That makes no sense to me, because suppose she's a drunk driver. If she gets caught drunk driving, she gets sent to jail. It doesn't matter how the alcohol got into her system. Just you're driving drunk, okay? And that's a crime, and you get sent to jail. So why are you not responsible for your actions in the case of the bedroom?
So yeah, yo, the point by Pegasus here is like as solid as a 10 ton fucking brick. It's just really good. And as I said before, this is one of the reasons why I watch the dude. Like, yeah, people say, oh, he's this whiny bitch boy and stuff like that, but those people tend to be the ones who when he calls out bad behavior, it applies to them. So of course they're going to be mad at him and they'll say all of these bad things about him. You know, a lot of people, when you call out bad behavior or you tell the truth, they tend to not like you, and that's fine. It just means you're doing something right. But anyway, let's see what the corner guy has to say.
So the difference I see there is the issue in the first place is the damage you do to someone else, like physical damage, like the action's consequences. So it doesn't matter if you're like intoxicated or not. As like a society, you need to come together and make sure that you have some kind of like punishment for that. But when it comes to cheating, it's not really, in my opinion, it's not really the physical cheating unless you get someone pregnant, right? That's a whole different thing. It's not really the physical cheating. It's the fact that you actively made the choice to break the trust, right? And I kind of feel like you can kind of put those into two different categories of intention matters versus intention doesn't matter. If you kill someone while driving, it doesn't matter if you're drunk, or it doesn't matter if you have the intention to do it or not, you did it, right? I mean, in sentencing, the intention does matter, but at the same time, it's like either way, it's like you're not off the hook.
I like that you're here.
Here's the thing. I don't, the guy he's literally speaking a bunch of babbling nonsense, right? What he's saying doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, your decision in that moment is what matters. You can be super fucking drunk and still choose not to sleep with someone. When you're super drunk, it doesn't mean that you just turn into this lustful, monster that has no control. No, you still have decision-making skills. Just like when you choose to hop in your car and drive home, attempt to drive home, you know that it's a bad decision. There's a part of you that still knows that it's a bad decision to make. This is why there's so many alcoholics who just walk home, or they go sleep in a bus shed, or they find someone that they know can drop them home, or call an Uber or whatever. Most people still have their wits about them to the point where they can tell right from wrong when they're drunk. If what this guy is saying was truly the case, a lot of people would actually just walk free for being drunk drivers, or they'll walk free and they'll face no consequences for cheating while they're drunk, because he's basically being an enabler at this point. And I don't think he truly understands what he's saying, because you're giving these people a free pass. You're allowing their bullshit logic to work by saying, oh, technically it's not as bad because they were drunk. You're think of it from your perspective. If you have a wife, and I'm not talking about no girlfriend, no, we're gonna go up a level. You have a wife that you've married and spent your let's say a better half of a decade with, right? And you have kids with this person, and then they go out and they get blacked, they get BBC'd, and they come home to you all sore and and spread out, and you could feel the difference. So you ask her about it, and she says, oh yeah, I was super drunk and got railed by this gigantic African man. How are you gonna react? Is it not her fault somehow? Is it somehow a passable offense? No, she's still cheated, man. It doesn't fucking matter.
Because we have these different perspectives here. For my rebuttal to that is the intention is already made when you drank the alcohol. It's not even before after the alcohol. Drinking.
So I'm gonna pause one more time here because it depends on the type of individual. There's some really manipulative people who they know this type of excuse works on some people. So I think this excuse would work on Connor over here. So if his girlfriend knows he thinks like this, she would go drink on purpose and then cheat. So she knows she has a better chance of getting away with it if there's a lot of alcohol in her system. You get what I'm saying? So it really depends on the type of individual. The intention for a lot of people when they drink isn't to just go cheat, it's to have a good time. You know, and this is coming from someone, as I said, who used to drink a lot. I don't drink anymore. I dropped the habit completely. I just don't like alcohol at all because I saw it was turning me into my dad. You know, it was turning me into my father, and I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not fucking drinking any alcohol. I'm not weak.
Vulnerable position with that other person, that's your mistake right there.
But it's a mutual friend, you didn't assume it'd get there. If you're just hanging out with a mutual friend and that happens because you're so completely blacked, I feel like that's that's almost a different situation.
If it's a mutual friend and you'll end up in a sexual situation at all, it means that there was prior attraction there. You don't find a mutual friend who is unattractive suddenly attractive when you're drunk. It doesn't work that way. Unless you have little to no real self-control when there's alcohol in your system. Because yes, I will agree, there's a small percentage of people who actually have little to no actual control of themselves when they drink. But that's not the majority of people. Majority of people still, as I said before in this video, can still tell right from wrong when they drink. And I just need to really stress that alcohol isn't some type of excuse you can use for bad behavior. If it doesn't work in a legal sense, it's not going to work in a moral sense like this either.
Than what you're bringing up of like, yeah, I feel like if you want somewhere where the intention was very clearly to, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's a little different.
Yeah, I just don't know why, like, why do adults, full-grown adults, get to absolve themselves of responsibility just because there's alcohol in it? Like, I don't know, we'll see.
I don't.
It's manipulative, man. It's just a manipulative tactic that a lot of these fucking losers do. They do this because they know there's people like Connor standing in the crowd. They know there's people like Connor who are willing to forgive easily, a lot more easily than me and you, Pegasus. That's what it is. And it just is what it is, man. It's just a part of the society we live in.
I think it's like lack of response because I feel like, I mean, actions still happen. I feel like if we're just purely looking at like intention, like we're not looking at like did someone do their action?
She's saying it's not her fault though.
Okay,
it is her fault.
it is technically her fault. But if we're looking,
there's no technical. It is her fault. Stop being so spineless. It is her fault. You see, and oh man, like I don't want to just go on ranting, but stuff like this frustrates me because this is how people get away with things like actual murder, right? They know people like this guy over here exists. So they'll give as many excuses as possible. Now I know he's not talking about murder, but it's kind of technically the same because people like him exist in other categories of different conversations as well, you know. So look at, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Look at the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. There was people who was straight up defending that guy and making a mill and like taking on any excuse he gave out because either they found him attractive or they're just very forgiving people, you know. So we need people who are cynical like me and Pegasus or the critical drinker. We need people in the world who are like that, who are willing to stand up and say, no, that's fucking wrong and shouldn't be happening.
At like if they just define cheating by intention or not, and if someone can't if someone can't make a choice, then I can't give intention. I would still, if I was like their partner, I'd still have massive issues with what happened, right? I would need to really like know a lot more. I would still have massive trust issues because it happened. Like the end result didn't change, right? There's no difference.
I mean, I guess you're just more forgiving than I am. I'd be like, nah, you drank the alcohol, your fault. I don't care. I mean, if you can get arrested for drunk driving, you can lose this relationship for I don't know, drinking like that.
Would you consider cheating?
Right. So I'm gonna cut the video here because that's really the part that I wanted, the main part that I wanted y'all to check out. So if you agree with my thoughts, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you disagree, that is fine. Let me know why you disagree, and to everybody else, have a good rest of your day, okay? Later.